will be three-time Busch North Series champion, 1988, 89, and 90. He also scored one win in what is now called the Xfinity Series. I still call it the Busch Series. He was the 1989 most popular driver in the Busch North Series. We are joined on the phone by Jamie Aube. Jamie, welcome to the show. How are you tonight?
Very good, thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, definitely glad to have you here because we've had a couple of other troublemakers from the Busch North Series on the show with us before, and had to get you on. We've had Dave D on, of course. We've also had Brad Layton, and happy to be joined here with you tonight. So let's jump right into things. And my favorite question to ask out of the gate: how did you catch the racing bug?
Well, I don't know. I guess I grew up. I grew up on a farm back in Vermont, and I always drove something around, built these stupid little go-karts and stuff like that, and really started racing motorcycles in the field, and just loved the speed. Got involved with drag racing as I was in high school, and went from there to stock car racing. I just have always loved it.
Three-time Busch North Series champion, of course, 3 consecutive years. Talk to us a little bit about not only your first championship, but the 3 of them together, and which one might have stuck out more to you per se, or what one might be your favorite.
Well, they're all pretty special, that's for sure. We worked real hard. We had a heck of a good team every year we won it. I had some great people, Dick Glines and Pete Bennett, and a whole bunch of people working on my team, and everything was pretty much volunteer for the most part of my championships. I guess the first one that I won was probably the most valuable one in my mind. It was a hard challenge, and I've been racing a lot of years to accomplish that, and I guess we got lucky enough to do it.
Jamie, what was your first local track you started racing at? Was it up at Thunder Road or somewhere else up there?
It was actually the first track I ever raced at was at Catamount Stadium and Thunder Road, same year. 2 fantastic tracks. That's where I really caught the bug, I guess. I started out, I wanted to buy this guy's motor he had in his stock car. I wanted to watch him race, and he said, "I'll sell it to you, but I got to tell you one thing." He says, "You got to go to Catamount Stadium and try it in this car, and then I'll sell it to you." I said, "Well, I will, but I'm not interested in circle track racing." So I went and I tried it, and about the 3rd lap, I went, "Oh boy, I'm hooked." I fell right into it, and I just loved it ever since.
Oxford Plains was another great track for you. You got your one and only Xfinity win there. What are your favorite Oxford memories throughout the years?
That was a great one, but the Oxford 250s are just they're hard to forget those. Those are awesome races. You made a lot of money when you won them, and there was several other ones that I won over there. They're all great. I mean, great fans in Maine, and they don't get any better than Vermont, but they're probably almost as good.
So you mentioned Oxford Plains, and obviously the 50th anniversary of the Oxford 250 was this past summer. My first time going up there. Great time, great experience, and I believe you were one of the honorees pre-race with Dave Dion and a couple of other folks. Talk to us a little bit about some of the battles at Oxford over the years and your Oxford 250s.
Oh, my God. It was an incredible place to race, and still is. Probably some of the most memorable thing in my mind about Oxford is I went up there for like the first time ever, and I said, "Boy, this place is way, way different." And I went over because I knew Mike Rowe was winning everything, and I kind of knew Mike a little bit, not very well. And I said, "Mike, would you allow me to run behind you and try to learn this place?" He goes, "If you think you can keep up, sure." So I went out behind him, and man, I followed him around that racetrack, and he took me over the front little berm there, and I thought I was going to kill myself. But I learned a lot from Mike Rowe, and it was great, that he took the time to even let me, because he really not, Mike Rowe is a hell of a racer, maybe one of the best in the country. So I learned a lot from him, and I had fun there. But the Oxford 250s, oh my God, we tried so many times and came close a couple times, but when we finally pulled it off, it was just a miracle. It was probably the greatest day of my life when I finally got lucky enough to win one. We worked hard at it. We had good equipment. we had good setups there, and just a tremendous amount of fans over there. It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of good battles, and when you show up there back then, there could be 80 some odd cars. Darrell Waltrip, you name it, anybody, bunch of cup drivers. So when you get to race with them and you won, one of those races, it was pretty special.
What was it like back in the day when you guys would go down south and race at Darlington and have to race against Dale Earnhardt and those guys at their own track? I've been told stories from Joe Carafas and the such that it was a different experience because you were now on their turf. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it definitely was a different experience. But I got to be so friendly with so many of the guys down south because we ran quite a few of them, and it was incredible to go to Darlington, Rockingham, Dover, and all those places. I mean, I got to race in the best of times, in my opinion. I don't think you could ever replace it. The tracks we got to go to and the friendships and stuff that we made, I got to be good friends with Dale Earnhardt. When a guy like that becomes your buddy, that's pretty darn important, And one of the Oxford 250s, Mark Martin was in it, and lo and behold, didn't I get into it late in the race with him? He made a move, and it kind of got in my way, and I was heading for the lead, and got the lead and won the race, And I saw him, out of the school in Indiana. He and I were kind of teaching out there, and I went over to apologize for turning him. He goes, "No, you're not sorry, and I don't blame you. I was in your way." So, I mean, that's the kind of friendships you made, and all the Busch South guys. I'm still very friendly with a lot of them, and it was just awesome times. I got great experiences. I got to travel all over the country, really, and do a lot of racing. That was nice being the champion because, we had pretty much guaranteed ins in some of those big races, which have been almost impossible to do well or qualify even. Those guys were on the gas. Those Southern boys were pretty darn good.
2003, you ran 11 Craftsman Truck Series races. Your best finish came at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, or at the time New Hampshire International Speedway, finishing, I believe, 17th. Talk to us a little bit about what it was like running not only the Craftsman Truck Series, but running at, in a sense, a home national track in New Hampshire.
Well, it was pretty awesome, and I worked all year down south that year as a crew chief, and ended up driving quite a few races down there. We did some start and park things, which I really wasn't too thrilled about doing, but I had to do them to create kind of a kitty so that we could put a truck together and come to Loudon, and we did, and it was a great truck, and I decided, I'll run the truck and I'll run my Busch North car at the same time, which probably was a mistake because I kind of missed some things on the truck. We had a shock come off the truck, and I think we were in for a really, really good run there with the truck, but we had a few mechanical problems, due to my own fault, and we kind of slid back a little bit, but it was awesome. It was just a lot of fun, and I liked the Truck Series pretty good anyway because I did get to race on a lot of tracks, the Truck Series, and just had a ball doing that.
Jamie, take away all the accolades and the championships and answer the question. What is the most memorable thing you got out of racing aside from the glamour?
Well, I think it just I never got too much involved with thinking I was a big shot doing it, but the amount of respect that I gained for other racers is probably the greatest thing I learned. Andy Santerre and even back in the ACT days, Robbie Crouch was probably one of the most influential people that I ever raced with. I still don't understand how come he never made it to Cup. He probably could have if he wanted to. But, just a lot of respect and appreciation for the crew people that I had and the camaraderie and the teamwork that we all did. It was like a big family, and it was just a ball. I think that's probably the most fantastic thing out of all of it.
What kind of learning curve is there from going to a place like Oxford and having dominating races to going to a place like Las Vegas, Michigan, Daytona, you name it, on a more national level scale? What's the learning curve from going to a very short track to one of the more high-banked, faster tracks?
Oh, boy, it's incredible, I'll tell you. I remember going to Daytona and watching practice before I went there to race, and I said, boy, I could never do this. These guys are flying around here. And then I had the opportunity to do it, and I drove Jack Ingram's car down there, and it was just a little intimidating. He said, you can drive around here wide open. I'm going, yeah, I don't know about that. But, anyway, we went out and it rained, and my first lap was qualifying basically on a dry racetrack, and I lifted the first turn a little bit. And second turn, I held her to the floor, and it was just awesome. It was just so much to learn. It's so different than the short track stuff we were doing. And then, I got to do Darlington and we got into the truck series. We got to do a lot of speedways there, a lot of driving on them. I'd set the trucks up for the guy that owned them, the Red Line truck, and it was a lot of fun, but a big learning curve. My third year at Daytona, because I ran it 3 times, I finally was able to run with some guys. Michael Waltrip took me aside and let me run with him and draft with him, and I learned so much and had so much fun. You can't even explain how different it is to run those super speedways. It's a ball.
So after your racing career in the car was done, you became a crew chief working in the K&N Pro East Series and the ACT Tour as well. Talk to us a little bit about what it was like, changing roles, going from a driver to being the crew chief.
Well, it's it keeps you involved with racing for sure. And actually, I haven't even really retired. I'm going to race some this year in the ACT thing, just a few to have fun. I guess I got to kind of look at it that I'm getting old, but these young kids just fascinate me. They're just so awesome. But it was a big, kind of a learning curve. But boy, it keeps you at the track. When you stay away from the track, you really miss it a lot. And in the last 10 years, I've been working in the Trans Am series, road racing with my boss now, Tom Sheehan. He drives in the Trans Am 2 series, and so I've stayed heavily involved. And it's hard sometimes to just sit there and watch them race because you want to get out there. But I'm kind of getting over that. This is going to be my last year driving any race car, and just to have fun. We got some great cars. We'll go out and run a few, maybe get back to Thunder Road, and we run White Mountain. Unfortunately, I can't run Loudon here in a few weeks because I'm out in New Orleans with the road course car, but it's been pretty good. I got used to it.
You going to come down and run Seekonk when ACT comes down to Seekonk this year?
I'm not sure. I haven't really compared the schedules. It's possible that we could be there. I'd love to. I'd love Seekonk. That's an awesome racetrack.
I'd love seeing you down there too.
Yeah, it's. I've had a little bit of success down there and a lot of fun.
So you mentioned you're still involved. Talk to us a little bit about what the Trans Am series kind of entails for your travel schedule and whatnot.
Crazy. To be quite simple, it's crazy. We travel all over the country. We have a first class team, and I manage it and crew chief the car. And Tom he's a veteran from about 13 years, I think, and we've got some really nice equipment, and the travel thing is a little bit crazy. It's this is what I really miss about the short track racing, is we're on the road 4 days a week when we go to these different. We run about 13 different Trans Am shows. It's Trans Am 2, fantastic series. The quality of drivers that are coming out of there are going to Cup right now. Connor Zillage is one of the kids that was kicking butt up here last year, and he's heading for Cup. He's only 17 years old. We got a 16-year-old running with us. And these young kids are just incredible. They have an enormous amount of talent. So it's a great series to do. It does all road racing, but road racing's pretty cool.
Absolutely. So we've been talking with Jamie Aube, of course, 3-time Busch North Series champion. And Jamie, you've still got fans out there who are quite following along and quite adamant about your career, which is cool to see. I've seen it the last couple of days on the social media channels. Anybody out there listening, your fans who've been kicking around, whether it be a brief period of time or a long period of time, any messages you want to send to them?
Well, I just want to thank them all for being so loyal to me. I didn't take a lot of time in my life. I was so serious about it and worked so hard at it that I didn't probably have as much appreciation for the fans back then as I do now. They are some loyal people, and I hear from them. I get postcards in the mail pretty much 2-3 a month to sign and send back out, and I do that. And it's kind of interesting. It's fun to talk with people, and the Oxford thing this summer over there, that was awesome. I just really enjoyed it. Enjoyed talking with Dave and all the other drivers that were involved. And it just really a lot of fun. But the fans really support. They really did back then support this series, and it was just awesome. It was awesome to race in it.
Been speaking with Jamie Aube, 3-time Busch North Series champion. Jamie, appreciate the time. Great to chat with you, and we will talk to you. We'll see you at the track soon.
All right, Miles. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Glad to be a part of it.